Hey, how's it going, everybody? And I just wanted to welcome you all to the presentation on my concept map for this week. My PICO question is, are packaged energy supplements sufficient over natural food diets for providing adequate muscle glycogen requirements during endurance events? First off, I'll tell you about my interest in the topic and why I wanted to research it. I do a lot of volunteering at different events and actually had the opportunity to be on the medical staff for the Pittsburgh Marathon. And watching these athletes is really interesting with all the technique they exhibit and everything associated with that. But I also see while they're running, they're snacking on some type of supplement, whether it be a goo or a paste or some sort of snack bar or what have you. So I always wanted to know if what they were using was giving them any type of an advantage. Was there also scientific basis for what they were doing? So I decided that I was going to make it one of my PICO questions, and I was really happy that I got the opportunity to look into it a little bit more. So that's my interest in the topic, and we'll get started here with the presentation. And at the top, you can see the patient or the problem in this case, which is in the form of a researchable question. Are packaged energy supplements sufficient over natural food products for providing adequate glycogen requirements during endurance events? Um, my intervention is on the right side of the screen over here, and this it's a little bit of a brownish tannish color, and that's the energy supplements. And the comparison for this question is the natural food diet on the left side of the screen, um, and as you can see there, natural food diet. My outcomes at the bottom of the screen. Excuse me. That's the glycogen stores. I made it a nice orange sun because it reminded me of energy, so I thought it went well, and it was an appropriate symbol for that. Starting off on the left side of the screen with the natural food diet, we all know that a healthy food diet, or sports nutrition diet to be more specific in this case, consists of proper carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and hydration in order to fuel your body. For the purpose of this map, we only focused on the carbohydrates and the protein portions of the recommendations, just due to their comparability with the intervention group. According to the ACSM Joint Position Statement, along with the American Dietetic Association and the Dietitians of Canada, for nutrition and athletic performance, recommendations for athletes range from 6 to 10 grams per kilogram of body weight. This is for maintenance of blood glucose levels, as well as replacement of muscle glycogen. During exercise, which is what we're looking at specifically, they recommend a beverage that contains 6 to 8% carbohydrates for events lasting up to 1 hour or less. And however, for longer events, the current recommendation for athletes to consume is about 0.7 grams per kilogram of body weight, and to consume it shortly after the onset of the activity and within 15 to 20-minute intervals. As far as the protein is concerned, according to the current recommendations, they are that these athletes are to consume 1.2 to 1.4 grams per kilogram a day to aid in upkeep of nitrogen balance and protein loss during exercise, although no recommendations are stated as to protein consumption during exercise. So as you can see there, it's kind of a dead end. That's why I made them all red, and because consumption during exercise is only limited to carbohydrates at this point as far as the recommendations are concerned. But natural food diets do have their advantages, and I put those there at the bottom left of the screen. If you're properly dieting according to the current recommendations and not ingesting any type of supplement during the event, there definitely are benefits. Ingesting a supplement can increase plasma insulin concentration during exercise, and this acts to reduce lipolysis and fat availability, which are likely to lead to increased muscular glycogen use and a subsequent reduction in exercise performance. So there's evidence available which is in favor of eating a healthy and appropriate diet pre-competition or pre-event as an endurance athlete. But let's go to the right side of the screen and let's see what the research says about taking an energy supplement during your event. So as you can see, the energy supplement intervention here is on the right side of the screen. Sorry if I'm not using my mouse as much. I'm afraid it's going to be a little bit laggy, so I don't want to confuse you too much. Current research has really focused on focused heavily, on two main topics in event or during competition supplementation, which are the carbohydrate only aids and most recently the combination of carbohydrate and protein in a single form as an energy supplement. So starting off with the carbohydrate group here, um, as you can see, it seems that intensity and type of endurance activity has a lot to do with the relative effectiveness or ineffectiveness of the supplement. Studies have shown that carbohydrate supplementation can limit the decline in muscle glycogen during a prolonged low intensity, intermittent, as well as variable intensity exercise. So carbohydrate supplementation has also shown to increase plasma insulin concentration in low, intermittent, and variable intensity exercises. This is also associated with sparring muscle glycogen and an increase in endurance performance. So in contrast, carbohydrate and protein ingestion has not only been studied to show increase in ergogenic effects when compared to a placebo, but also when compared to carbohydrate supplementation alone. So there are several different mechanisms for this, including a reduced rate of muscle glycogen use and less reliance on non-oxidative metabolism. So studies have shown that also shown that protein ingestion with carbohydrates during activity will increase the efficacy, or the efficiency, I always get those two mixed up, of muscle glycogen storage when the amount of carbohydrate ingested is below the threshold for maximum glycogen synthesis. Also, carbohydrates with protein intake delayed time to exhaustion in multiple studies, showing solid evidence in favor of its use in endurance events. And then lastly here, carbohydrate and protein when coupled together can also reduce markers of damage in endurance athletes. Although it doesn't have terribly too much to do with glycogen stores, I thought it was pretty important to add in just because fatigue or feelings of fatigue are so important to avoid during athletic events, especially for endurance athletes. And again, this is somewhat of a simplified version. I started midweek with something a little bit more crazy looking, going into the blood stores and the blood measurements and muscle measurements and stuff like that. But I just needed to back off of it a little bit and make it a little bit more simplified. So this is what it came out with, and that pretty much concludes the presentation. I wanted to thank you for making it this far, and I appreciate your time. Once again, thank you, and have a great day.